Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Nicole from Wildflower Valley Farm. It is a warm Sunday afternoon. I say warm, it's not warm, but it's warmer than it has been for a while. It rained absolutely all day yesterday, so that I didn't get to do a whole lot around the farm. So today I'm trying to get caught up, and I'm actually going to try to film at least 2 videos today, possibly 3. I have a few small projects that I'm going to be working on, and I'm going to try to break those up into separate videos if I can, if I have time for all of that. So if you see me wearing the same clothes in 2 or 3 videos throughout the week this week, it is not because my washing machine is broken. It's because that I was able to film more than one today. So wish me luck with that. But to this first video today is actually going to be about the chicks. Let me turn the camera around so that you can see how they're doing in some of their progress. Starting with the second batch of chicks that I bought. These are 1 week younger than the first chicks that I bought. They're doing fine. The brooder box that they're in here is starting to get a little crowded, but not so terrible just yet. But there are also only 10 birds in this box, whereas the other one has considerably more. These guys are going to get a clean box today, but they are doing just fine. I may move them up to the bigger brooder box, and I'll show you why I'm going to be able to do that. These are the first chicks that I bought, and as you can see, sort of, maybe, they are almost fully feathered out, but not completely. So they are not quite ready to go outside just yet, but they are very close. And they are getting too big for this brooder box. This is the biggest Rubbermaid tote that I have, and there's just they're too big. Even if I didn't have so many, these Cornish rocks are getting so big that they need more space. So I'm going to move them to another brooder box that I have in an outside shed that it's a little less temperature controlled than here on my back porch, but it's still protected from the elements. So I'm going to kind of wean them to the outside by moving them into that brooder box. Let them be out there for another week or so, and hopefully by next weekend they will be fully feathered out enough to go outside. But once I get them moved out of this box and this box cleaned up, then those other chicks can move into this box for a week or 2. So I'm just going to let these guys enjoy some time outside in the grass today. They are already learning how to forage, and they love digging through this grass looking for bugs. So that will give them a nice activity to work on today while I'm cleaning up that other brooder box. The temperatures at night are still not warm enough. I don't feel like to leave them in this particular cage during, well, 24/7. The weather is nice enough that I will try to bring them out more during the day when I can maybe bring them out before I leave for work in the mornings and then just put them up at night. That is a possibility, but I can't really leave them out all night because the temperatures are still getting into the 40s. And as we all know, that the predictions are just kind of a ballpark guess sometimes. If the forecasted low says that it's going to be 40, it could potentially get down colder than that, maybe 35, and these guys do not have enough feathers to be able to handle temperatures like that just yet. So unfortunately I can't leave them out here all the time, but they are getting close. As you can see, they are mostly feathered out. Some of them have more feathers than others, but I think that within the next week to 10 days they will probably be fully feathered out, and I can start leaving them outside more in the evenings. So I decided to do something a little different than the brooder box I had inside. I have some old hay that I really have no other use for, and I decided to put it in this box instead of the shavings. I do have a whole bale of shavings that I could have used, but I decided that I was going to try to do the hay instead, because these chicks, I don't know if you noticed when I put them out in the grass, but they are already scratching like crazy, like almost like adult chickens. And with the shavings, they kick those shavings up into their food and into their water. They're still going to scratch around in this hay, but I'm hoping that they won't scratch it into their food and water as badly. It's a thick enough layer that it's still going to catch all of their droppings and keep their bedding pretty clean. I have more hay that I can put down on top of it if their bedding starts to get dirty. Or if I change my mind and decide to do the shavings, I can do that. But I'm going to try this little experiment and see if the hay will work better. I wanted to point out some of the features of this brooder in case that some of you may not have noticed yet. The brooder it has wire on the front, so there is plenty of ventilation. If you have little bitty chicks, it will still keep them warm enough because this building is completely enclosed. I can close all the windows and doors, and it is completely fully insulated. So it keeps there from being any drafts in the building where this is located. It is an outdoor shed, but it's completely insulated like a house would be. So the wire on the front does help with ventilation. The wire on the top helps with ventilation, which helps keep the box from getting too hot. But the other thing that I like about this is these wire doors on top. There are two separate doors. They open independently of each other. And I like to put the heat lamp on the wire, not inside the cage. There is no danger of the heat lamp falling down onto the hay or the shavings because it is sitting on top of this wire. If I need a stronger light bulb, like one of the actual red heat lamp bulbs, I could use that. I have found, because our temperatures here are pretty mild by the time I like to buy chicks most of the time, a 100 watt light bulb usually is sufficient, but if not, I can always increase the wattage of the bulb if I need to increase the temperature of the brooder itself. The other thing that this brooder has that my Rubbermaid totes don't have is it has roosts. This one was built in when I acquired the brooder. That one is just a wooden dowel that I kind of stuck in there today, actually, because I don't believe this one has enough space for all of the chicks to roost on. But this helps them to have a place to roost at night. They're old enough that they're already trying to do that. They like to sit on top of the feeder or on top of each other. So I will, having these roosts in here helps them to have a place to roost without having to be right over the food or water. These wooden blocks that I have here are just some scrap wood, a couple of 4x4s that are cut off. Just a couple of scrap 4x4s. And then another block of lumber that I put on top just to kind of be more of a sturdy base. These chicks are big enough that I can set the water on top of this and they can still reach it. If they were smaller, then I might just put this. Put this on the ground and put the water on top of it for smaller chicks. But this will keep it up high enough that the larger chicks can still reach it, but even with all of their scratching around in this hay, they shouldn't be able to scratch anything up into the water. I'm going to keep using the galvanized chick feeder that I have because it's working, but if I find that it is not sufficient, then I have some other things I can add to that. But when I bring the chicks in here, I will show y'all a little bit more about the setup. I wanted to go ahead and get the light set up on here because it is a little bit cool in this building. So I wanted the light to go ahead and be able to start warming this up, and I can just kind of keep an eye on it throughout the rest of the day today, make sure everything's okay. These chicks are just enjoying themselves too much. I so wish that the weather was warm enough that I could leave them out here 24/7. Even with this cage completely fixed up to weatherize it for these chicks, it still is too cold at night. So, like I've mentioned, they are going to have to be in the brooder at least at night. But I hope that we have enough warm days this week that I can let them out into this enclosure during the day at bare minimum, so that they can enjoy themselves scratching around, foraging for bugs. I know there's all kinds of bugs in there that they're finding. But they are happy birds, and my favorite kind of chicken is a happy chicken. So now that it's evening, I brought these guys back into the brooder so that they will be sure to be warm enough this evening. Like I said earlier, the evening temperatures, the nighttime temperatures this coming week are still a little too cold for chicks that don't have all of their feathers. So I'm going to, if I'm able to put them out during the day, I will, but I will definitely be putting them in here at night to protect them. I'm using the same waterer and feeder that I was using in the Rubbermaid brooder box, but this one, because it's bigger, they obviously have more room to move around, to scratch around. I really think that the hay experiment is going to work out so far, at least I hope that it will. I don't normally like to use hay as bedding material long term because it is harder to clean. It is messier once they start pooping on it, but since this is probably just going to be short term, my expectation is that within the next week to week and a half, they should finish feathering out and the temperatures at night will warm up a little bit. So I'm hoping to be able to put them outside permanently, possibly next weekend, or if not, then hopefully sometime the middle of the following week. But these guys seem to be liking their new brooder, and I'm hoping that, like I said, I hope they don't have to be in here much longer. They're already checking out the roost bars. The very first thing they did when I put them in here was they all went and jumped up on that roost bar to see what that was about. So I think that's probably where they're going to choose to sleep tonight. So that's all for today's video. If you haven't already, be sure to click that subscribe button down below, because that is how you show your support for our channel, even though it doesn't cost you a single penny. That lets us know that you are interested in seeing more from us. If you like this video, you can click the thumbs up button down below as well. And be sure to check out the description down below for links to all of our social media accounts.